Nothing brings us together like Eggland's best eggs. Always so fresh and delicious. Plus superior nutrition like 6 times more vitamin D, 10 times more vitamin E, and 25% less saturated fat compared to ordinary eggs. For us, it's eggs any style, as long as they're the best. Eggland's Best. Better taste, better nutrition, better eggs. Visit egglandsbest.com to learn more.
One of the hardest parts of getting older is feeling like something's off in your body, but not knowing exactly what. It's not just aging, it's often your hormones too. When they fall out of balance, everything feels off. But here's the good news. This doesn't have to be the story of your next chapter. Hormone Harmony by Happy Mammoth is an herbal formula made with science-backed ingredients designed to fine-tune your hormones by balancing estrogen, testosterone, progesterone, and even stress hormones like cortisol. It helps with common issues such as hot flashes, poor sleep, low energy, bloating, and more. With over 40,000 reviews and a bottle sold every 24 seconds, the results speak for themselves. A survey found 86% of women lost weight, 77% saw an improved mood, and 100% felt like themselves again. Start your next chapter feeling balanced and in control. For a limited time, get 15% off your entire first order at happymammoth.com with code NEXTCHAPTER at checkout. Visit happymammoth.com today and get your old self back naturally.
Cash flow crunch? OnDeck's small business line of credit gives your business immediate access to funds up to $100,000 right when you need it. Cover seasonal dips, manage payroll, restock inventory, or tackle unexpected expenses without missing a beat. With flexible draws, transparent pricing, and control over repayment, get funded quickly and confidently. Apply today at OnDeck.com. Funds could be available as soon as tomorrow. Depending on certain loan attributes, your business loan may be issued by OnDeck or Celtic Bank. OnDeck does not lend in North Dakota. All loans and amounts subject to lender approval.
We're gonna carry on and plan the sequel, because let's face it, baby, these days, you gotta have a sequel.
And welcome back to Horror Queers. We're talking, I want to know exactly what you saw, and exactly what you saw. We're talking, I mean, heck, the surfboard's even a phallic symbol. And we're talking, are you incognito? No, I'm German-Irish. And I'm Joe.
And I'm Trace, and we're talking, no man rejects Anne Bowman. Anne Bowman invented luau's.
I love Anne Bowman.
Anne Bowman is the best part of this movie, and I wish she was in it more, because everyone, we are discussing Robert Lee King's Psycho Beach Party, a comedy horror film from 2000, and a cult hit, I might say.
Oh, yes. We have had numerous requests for this title over the years. This is a first-time watch for me, and I can say I like it. I don't love it. I can understand why it's a cult film as opposed to a smash, but I can definitely understand why people get a chuckle out of this one.
And we should say that we're covering this because this is the film's 25th anniversary this year, which, oh my God. I did see this. Oh God, I was probably in high school when I Netflix rented this, and I liked it.
Right.
But I didn't love it. And I remember I kept thinking, like, I felt like some of the humor was off. I laughed quite a bit, but then I also thought there were a lot of clunkers. And I thought there were a few too many elements where nothing was being served in the right way. And I gotta say, I was interested to see how this would hold up after revisiting it, because I haven't seen it since, 20-ish years ago.
Okay, so one and done, and then you were like, well, I'm a different person now. Maybe I'll appreciate it more, so on.
Exactly, and I kind of feel the same. I think there is some gorgeous production design in this movie. I love this feels like a beach party movie in the year 2000. It is so fun to look at. I don't think the script is fully there for me, though.
Yeah, I know that you're going to give me some backstory about how the stage production, kicked this all off and maybe some of the key differences, but there is a bit of a stagey lo-fi-ness to it. Like, you and I were batting around comparisons to, like, All About Evil.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little, but I'm a cheerleader. That kind of, like, indie spirit that was so pervasive right in the late 90s and into the early 2000s, where it's like, my God, how did they even work up a budget to make this movie? It's a marvel in that capacity. But it does feel like, this is a labor of love, where I was a little too afraid to kill some of my darlings from the stage production. So we get a bit of a clunky, cluttered script.
Yeah, and the big comparison you'll hear me making probably throughout this episode is 2004's Reefer Madness, the movie musical, a film that is very much doing like really banking on a certain time period, really going all in on the phrases from that time period, pop culture and things like that. And I remember when we covered Reefer Madness, one of the issues you had with it was you said, oh, this movie is like the energy is at 11 the entire time and there are no levels. Yes. And it kind of becomes exhausting by the end. And I realized my issue with this movie is I don't think there's enough energy to it. I think when it comes to movies like this, and like All About Evil even, I need that energy to be at 11 all the time.
Yeah, this feels like we're at about a solid 6 or 7 for most of the film. And you think, okay, where's the energy? Where are we ramping up? You know, the film is clearly not super interested in its actual kill sequences. It's very much more a comedy as opposed to a horror film or a whodunit or something like that. But even in the climax, I was like, okay, we're kind of there. You know, we're inching towards it, but it never got quite as exciting as I was hoping.
I think I have a reason for that. So why don't we jump in? I'd say
let's do it.
I'm pulling most of this from 2 major articles. One is How the Beach Party Franchise Invented the Teen Movie by Dana Woolery for the Bijou Film Board at the University of Iowa. So this is not even like a publication, it's like a college film board thing. And then Psycho Beach Party, the subtext barely hidden by the beach blanket, written by David Barr for the New York Times.
Nice. Love those titles, by the way.
So before we get into Psycho Beach Party as a film, let's talk about the types of films it's parodying, or homaging, whichever term you'd like to use here. I think it's both.
I think it's both. Yeah, I think more homage with a gentle ribbing of parodying.
But this would be the beach party films from the 60s. And admittedly, like I have no awareness of these types of films. Like I knew they were a thing. I've never seen one. And that's something I wondered too, as well, as where I was like, oh, if I was like really into beach party movies, would I get more out of Psycho Beach Party? And I'm unclear on that. So I'm actually curious for any listeners out there, if you are familiar with the beach party films, if you get more enjoyment out of Psycho Beach Party.
Yeah, to be honest, I'm not sure, because I'm tangentially familiar with it. Like, my mom and dad used to make me watch, I think I even said this in the outro of last week, I used to watch Annette Funicello and Frankie Avalon, but like, it was more like a Disney movie kind of presents, so I knew that that's what they were famous for, and then I know that Disney has gone back and done, like, teen versions of those, like, after the High School Musical franchise really kicked off. I think they did 2 movies that were like beach blanket bingo movies. Right. And I mean, I think that you're getting it definitely through the costume design and like the beachy setting and that kind of stuff. But I don't know that you're missing too much, apart from if you struggled with the language. Like if the dialogue was still like, what the fuck are we doing here? I think that's the other big, strong key element.
Yeah, I think the dialogue is actually really fun in this movie, but then I also think some of the performances, like, we like Anne Bowman. She's so over the top with her line deliveries, and some characters play it straight, which I do think is an aspect, like a crucial aspect of parody or even camp. But
sure, you need it, but you don't want most people to be doing that. Like, you want some of these bigger-than-life characters.
Yeah, so these beach party films, these are all throughout the 60s, and they're basically remembered as a kitschy fad, and the epitome of schlock drive-in movie fare.
Love it.
Yeah, so basically like not horror films, but these teen movies. And that's their legacy is that they essentially created what would eventually become the teen movie.
Yeah, you have to remember that teen as a definition, I talked about this on my YA podcast with my co-host Brenna, teen was actually not a concept. Like, it wasn't a term that we had in the popular consciousness. Like, it wasn't part of everyday lexicon. It was something that we ultimately come around to, like, way late.
So that's a great segue, because I have a brief history of that. So
fantastic. Okay.
Yes, the concept of the teenager is incredibly modern. So by the late 1920s, as the world transitioned from localized agrarian economies and factory work, as well as the rise of child labor laws, which made education compulsory, public education became the main vocational choice for middle and lower class children, which
it's like, oh no, we can't send them to the factories anymore, so children have to become children because they're not employees of capitalism anymore. anymore.
Exactly. So by the 1940s, the idea of the teenager had fully reached the mainstream. And along with this transition came a new style of courtship known as dating.
Ooh, love it. Heard so much about it. One day hope to experience it.
Because before the 20th century, courtship was exclusively done through chaperone supervision. And the event would be extremely formal. The process was purely for the commitment of marriage rather than for fun.
Yep.
But by the 1920s, the formal idea of courting for the strict purpose of marriage slowly became outdated. And then by the 40s, this new form of courtship known as dating had become the norm.
Yeah, Trace, you could take a walk with a gentleman caller and not have to get married to them because they saw your ankles.
Oh my God. Oh, those ankle sluts. I know. Shout out to Ghost, everyone. Please watch Ghost on CBS. But teenagers began to finally be seen as a market demographic by the 1950s. But there were no movies for or about them. And Woolery kind of goes into, like, we had, like, James Dean or Rebel Without a Cause, but those were like more, they weren't teenagers. They were like miscreants almost.
Well, kind of like Reefer Madness, right? It was almost alarmist. All of a sudden we've got these teenagers and they're becoming a societal problem. So we started to make movies about how in danger they were.
Right. But weirdly enough, the only films to actually incorporate any meaningful teenage characters that had an actual voice were horror films like The Blob or Invasion of the Saucer Men. But the thing is, like, they weren't about teenagers or necessarily for teenagers, but they did at least have substantial teenage characters. You also had movies like I Was a Teenage Frankenstein or The Teenager from Outer Space, which teenagers could see themselves in. But again, it wasn't always about them, and it likely didn't appeal to anyone who didn't want to go see a horror film.
Right, yes.
Which at the time, I mean, like,
still pretty niche.
Yeah, exactly. Now, this all changed with Paul Windko's 1959 film Gidget, about a young girl on a summer vacation who accidentally falls in love with two surfers. Gidget, by the way.
What a plot.
I did not. So Gidget, I only know through a lyric in the Hairspray musical where I think it's in Mom, I'm a Big Girl Now, where one of the girls is like, I'm just like Gidget and I've got to get to Rome. But Gidget is a portmanteau of girl and a certain M-word slur for little person.
Yeah.
Did not know that. But this film was a hit with teenagers, most likely because 2/3 of all filmgoers were between the ages of 16 and 24 by the late 1950s. So the intended target was clear. Seeing the success of Gidget, B-movie studio American International Pictures sparked a genius idea. What if we made our version of Gidget, but removed the parental authority and made it 100% about the kids?
Oh my God, yes. And then print money.
Yes. So, on July 14th, 1963, teens across America were exposed to William Asher's Beach Party. And
I'm sorry, they were exposed to it?
Yeah, they were exposed. It exposed itself to them.
Okay, so they willingly chose it. They didn't have to, put this gentleman on a watch list or anything.
They paid money to go see it, yes.
Right, okay. So it's not a Zordon situation. Is what we're saying.
Not at all. Everyone go listen to our Power Rangers episode. But that director, by the way, William Asher, the director of Butcher, Baker, Nightmare Maker.
Fuck off, really?
So the Beach Party movie director did that movie too.
Okay, cool.
But in Beach Party, this movie starred teen heartthrob Frankie Avalon, as you mentioned, and Disney Mouseketeer Annette Funicello. And this was a movie filled with young love, surf rock music, and a lot of girls in bikinis. Or I should say movies about girls in bikinis within the movie.
Right.
Frankie and Annette were the first idealized teen power couple, and the plot of these movies always revolved around whether they would stay together or not.
Folks, can you figure it out? Do you think you know how it's gonna end? I
mean, there were sequels, but I guess they they end the movie together, and then the next movie it's like, oh, there's a problem. We're not together anymore.
Yeah, it's like a classical rom-com structure.
Yeah. Now, Beach Party was a smash hit at the box office, even doubling what Gidget made. So this led to sequels, spin-offs, and even rip-offs by other B-movie studios. And the phrase Beach Party movie actually came from Mad Magazine, who just kind of called it that in one of their issues, and the name just stuck.
Oh man, I love it. Folks, we should bring back Mad Magazine. Yeah. God, it was such a fucking delight. It's like if you got parodied by Mad Magazine, then you knew you had hit the big time. Very much so. And I mean, that's exactly what happened here. So like the Beach Party franchise just evolved into a new genre of film. So the lack of plot and their hip romantic feel made these movies prime for makeout dates at the drive-in. And this trend would go on. It's interesting. So it started in 1963 and the trend pretty much died out in 1968. Oh, wow. Okay, so not unlike slashers or horror films, it was big and then busted.
Exactly. Now, the Beach Party movies were surf rock musicals at a time when rock and roll was still new to the film world, and the idea of a rock musical was a completely foreign concept. So the music was meant to give the film a hip look and feel, and oftentimes they would contain popular acts of the day, such as Little Stevie Wonder in Bikini Beach, or Leslie Gore and James Brown in Ski Party, which is something that I do think Psycho Beach Party is missing, actually.
Yeah, like, instead of a luau, how much better would it have been if we had a big concert on the beach at the end?
Yeah, and it doesn't have to be like a real person. Like, make it like Bye Bye Birdie, like, the stand-in for Elvis.
Sure, yeah.
Now, in that New York Times article, David Barr says that the Beach Party movies were thoroughly titillating and cornball. They catered...
How dare you? They sound great.
They catered both to teenagers' fleshy fantasies and to the moral concerns of allowance-providing parents. So as a result, the beach films have, interesting phrasing, a schizophrenic feel, occupying a cinematic space between the virginal heroics of Doris Day and the permissive culture represented by Midnight Cowboy from 1969 and Clute from 1971. So,
oh my God, those are both so adult movies.
I know,
that was a hilarious comparison.
A really bizarre comparison, but feminism, homoeroticism, and socioeconomic class conflict are all broached by the beach movies, only to be buried beneath insipid storylines and fairy tale endings to appease the parents.
Right. This sounds a lot like melodramas for women as well, right? So it's all about people sort of stepping beyond conventions of the norm or like accepting society. But then by the end of the film, everybody's got to go back into their regularly approved and scheduled boxes.
Exactly. So it's all safe candy fare for everyone involved.
Whew, we all learned a lesson today at the movies.
Dodged a bullet. But okay, so Robert Lee King's 2000 film Psycho Beach Party, directed by King, written by Charles Busch, who wrote the 1987 off-Broadway play of the same name that the film adapts.
Oh, wow. I didn't realize it was that old. For some reason, it was giving like mid-90s.
That's what I thought, too. Like, I thought this is a full, like, House of Yes type situation, but it is not the case. So, originally titled Gidget Goes Psychotic, the title was eventually changed for fears of copyright infringement.
Well, yeah.
Now, Busch is a decades-long drag star that had made his career in plays that often satirized and parodied other genres while also infusing them with joyful bouts of camp. And after finding small success with the play Vampire Lesbians of Sodom, which, want to see that, Busch would move on and write Psycho Beach Party.
Okay.
Now, Psycho Beach Party would only spend a year in the circuit before being optioned for a film nearly a decade later. And the film saw a number of retoolings, and this is interesting. So Busch said he never really imagined Psycho Beach Party as a movie because it's a very stagey play. He's like, I don't really know how a lot of that would work on the screen.
Okay.
So to remedy that, the film version saw a number of retoolings from the play in its original format. The main one being that Busch had actually originated the role of Florence, the Gidget-esque character who wants to learn how to surf.
Yeah. Question, do you know how old he would have been when he was performing this role? Because I definitely saw reports that the reason he doesn't continue it in the film is because he had aged out. But part of me was like, no offense to the performer, but, he's looking middle-aged. So part of me was like, is that meant to be part of the joke that he's a very old-looking teenager?
Yeah, so he would have been in his early to mid-20s whenever he was doing it off-Broadway. So I don't think that would have been a thing.
Yeah.
But then he's, like in his early 40s when the movie comes out.
Right.
So I think he said it was a level of camp that the studio didn't really want to gamble on.
Sure. Yeah.
Which to me, though, I'm kind of like, I actually do like Lauren Ambrose in this movie a lot, but I do think when oh, wow, on stage, though, this is played by a man in drag.
Yeah.
It does remove something from the film. It loses something in the transition from stage to film.
Yeah, I don't know, because I really enjoy the Captain Stark character. Like, I enjoy the drag. I don't know that I would want it to be so front and center in the lead character. I think that is more of a stagey kind of bit.
Well, so the studio still wanted Busch to be involved, but they weren't willing, as I said, to lean into that camp. So they created the character of Captain Monica Stark exclusively for the film for Busch.
Which I think makes sense. Like, I actually think that character works well within this world.
I actually think, and I saw that they did debate this, but he really wanted the Florence's mother character to be, again, a straight-laced one. Like, play it straight, not go too over the top. But I wouldn't have minded a Hairspray style thing where it's like, oh yeah, the mother is the man in drag.
Right. Yeah, I could see that too, to be honest.
But King would also work with Busch to tweak the script and add in a slasher element that is completely absent from the play.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wait, so why is the play called Psycho Beach Party?
Because Florence has 4 different personalities.
Okay, so we're just doing Psycho 1960 with the DID. Okay.
Exactly.
Okay.
And that makes sense because Psycho is from 1960, so it's in the same era predating the Beach Party movies. But yeah, there is no slasher element or murder. There is no Lars character, spoiler alert for the killer of this movie, in the play. It is just Gidget wants to learn how to, Florence wants to learn how to surf, and she has 4 different personalities.
Also, that Freudian slip. Loved it.
I know. I do think, though, that is obvious in the film, because I do think the slasher element is one of its least successful components.
It's definitely weak. It feels a bit like an afterthought, or kind of the way that we were talking about Elvira and Mistress of the Dark, where we were like, oh, the teenagers don't really work in this film. And then you find out, oh, we had to add the teenagers in at the behest of the studio.
Yes, exactly. So that's that. And then they of course, created entirely new characters like Monica Stark.
Right.
Their end goal, however, was to make the audience as conscious of the Beach movie's sexual subtext and, if possible, a little bit uncomfortable. They wanted to recreate it and then take it one step farther, fitting in exactly with what those films are about, which is exploring repressed sexuality.
Sure. I don't think they take it one step further, though. I feel like they're raising it and having fun with it, but part of me, like, there's one part where Nicholas Brendon's character, Starcat,
I know,
where he goes into graphic detail about the sex acts that he would perform with the Amy Adams character.
Marvel Ann.
Yes, and I thought that was arguably one of the funniest parts of the film, and I was like, oh, I could deal with a bit more of the sexual frankness, like bringing the subtext into text would have helped some of these jokes a little more.
I agree, and also this is an R-rated film, but I don't think it pushes the boundaries of the R very far.
Oh god, no. No.
I also think that knowing, Florence had 4 personalities in the stage show, but she has 2 here, and I think the fact that there are 2 is kind of weird.
Well, she has hers, and then she has 2.
Well,
she has Anne, and then she has Traylene or something.
Yeah, okay, I'm sorry. Then she has 5 personalities in the play, if we're counting Florence as one of them. But the 2 that were cut out is Dr. Rose Mayer, an on-air psychologist, and then also Steve, a male model.
Oh, interesting.
Now, I get that we're probably cutting it out because we don't devote a lot of time, honestly, to Florence's other personalities, but I do think that makes the appearance of the second one...
it's very unexpected.
Well, and it's also, it feels just half-baked. Like, I want more of her. I want more of all of these personalities.
Yeah. We'll talk about both of them and how they get used, but I agree with you. I wonder if it was just, this is already getting too cluttered because we had to introduce both the actual killer, but then the Captain Stark character, so... something has to go, and I guess it's going to be these 2 other personalities. Yeah,
exactly. So that's
a shame.
The sacrifices we have to make. Because I would have liked to see Lauren Ambrose do this too, because I think she's really fun when she's in all these other personalities modes.
100%. I mean, folks, if you don't know Lauren Ambrose, and I'm, you know what? I'm not even going to pretend to hide my disdain if you don't know who Lauren Ambrose is, because she is a fucking gem of an actor. Like, she does not do a bad performance, and let me just climb back up onto that soapbox and be like, hey, if you haven't seen Servant or 6 Feet Under, you're missing out on some of the best performances that an actor has given in like the last 25 years.
And I think the reason I saw this movie out too is because I had just this is around the time I would have done a binge of 6 Feet Under. Like, I watched all of it, and so I of course, like, she's one of the best parts of that show, and so I was looking for stuff, and I was like, oh my god, wait, this has Lauren Ambrose, this has Xander from Buffy, this has
the cast, Trace, the cast in this movie.
And Zelda from Sabrina the Teenage Witch, Amy Adams. Like, I don't even think I would have known who Amy Adams was when I watched this for the first time. But yeah, no, the cast is great, and they are committed. I just, again, wish a lot of them went more over the top. Like, I don't think Nicholas Brendon is particularly good in this movie. He's just playing Xander.
Yeah, I mean, he's kind of the boring love interest persona, right? But yeah, I think they could have done more with his like psychology stuff.
Right? Yeah. Okay, so shot over the course of 21 days on a budget of $1.5 million.
All right.
Yeah. Psycho Beach Party premiered at Sundance in January of 2000 before getting a very limited release in just 7 theaters on August 4th of 2000. Okay. It grossed about $268,000. Yeah. Reviews were mixed. We're looking at a 54% on Rotten Tomatoes and based on 34 reviews. And Letterboxd users have given this a 3.3 out of 5 or a 6.6 out of 10.
Yeah, this is somewhere between a 3 and a 3.5, I think.
Yeah, I'm between a 2.5 and a 3.
Okay. Yeah.
But, Joe, what happens in this movie?
Always so fresh, delicious, and nutritious, Eggland's Best Eggs fuel the body with 6 times more vitamin D, 10 times more vitamin E, and 25% less saturated fat compared to ordinary eggs. Visit egglandsbest.com to learn more.
Cash flow crunch? OnDeck's small business line of credit gives your business immediate access to funds, up to $100,000 right when you need it. Cover seasonal dips, manage payroll, restock inventory, or tackle unexpected expenses without missing a beat. With flexible draws, transparent pricing, and control over repayment, get funded quickly and confidently. Apply today at OnDeck.com. Funds could be available as soon as tomorrow. Depending on certain loan attributes, your business loan may be issued by OnDeck or Celtic Bank. OnDeck does not lend in North Dakota. All loans and amounts subject to lender approval.
Toxic Avenger fans, tickets are on sale now. Go to toxicavenger.com/podcast and get tickets for you and dozens of your friends to see your favorite radioactive janitor exclusively in theaters. Go to toxicavenger.com/podcast to get your movie tickets now and show the up on August 29th.
Okay, so we open in gorgeous black and white trace. We watch as Greaser Eddie, who is played by Baywatch's David Chikotay.
Okay.
Oh, he was very important to me because his opening credits in Baywatch episodes was him coming out of the pool in a blue Speedo. But I wasn't gay.
I've never seen a single episode of Baywatch, and I've always been curious.
Oh, it's silly fun. I think you would actually enjoy Baywatch Nights more, which was the attempted kind of spin-off where we solved crimes at the beach later at night.
Wait, what do they do in the normal Baywatch? Do they just lifeguard and talk?
It's like rescue stuff. Like people drown and we have to go out, but also like some gentle relationship shit.
There's 200 plus episodes of that show.
Oh yeah. No, it's real boring. Basically, Baywatch existed so you could look at hot bodies running in slow motion to music.
Oh man.
Good show. Great times. It was a different era. Okay. So Eddie arrives at this diner and he's there to get a kiss out of Diane. This is a girl that he is crushing on, but she never reveals anything more than her face. We should note that she's played by Kimberly Davies. I was like, oh, I don't need to know this actor's name because she's not going to turn up because this is revealed to just be a low budget B movie at the drive-in. And then, much to my shock and amazement, we will actually get to meet this actor as a different character in the film.
Yeah. She's one of my highlights of this movie as well.
Very fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so yes, this is the drive-in. We're introduced to our main character, Florence Forrest, who is played by Lauren Ambrose. She is there with her queer feminist best friend, Berdine, played by Danny Wheeler. I was going to write queer-coded, and then I'm like, there's nothing coded about this character.
Yeah.
She's just in love with Florence.
Yeah, she wants to munch.
I mean, there's a moment where she literally begins to lean in for a kiss until they get separated. And you're like, oh, this whole character's motivation is like she does feminist readings of movies, which is also pretty queer. But then, yeah, she just worries about Florence and the strength and stability of their female friendship. And I was like, I mean, it doesn't have to be gay, but it's pretty fucking good.
I remember when I first saw this too, because I didn't think I knew it was going to be like a queer film. And so,
right.
I don't know how you couldn't, because when you watch this, it's like, oh, wow,
it's
there's
so gay.
So much
gay
in this movie. we'll talk about Provolone and Yo-Yo soon enough.
Oh my God, the names. So wild. But yes, okay. So the two are sitting here actually watching the movie. No one else is watching the movie because, as you said, reason you go to the fucking drive-in is so that you can make out. This is the place to hook up. So Florence doesn't really understand that. She doesn't often find herself attracted to men, so she poses questions like, these guys only have one thing on their minds. want a wiener.
Yeah, and that's the kind of humor. And again, that feels very Reefer Madness, right? We're playing on the characters like naivete and innocence with these double entendres and things like that. And I think they're fun. I think they're fun. So this did get a nice chuckle out of me.
Yeah, I think it's most successful when we then integrate it in with Lars, our new to the film Swedish exchange student, because pretty much everything he says is sexually coded, but he almost never means it that way. And I giggled because it's my kind of stupid, smart humor.
Yeah, no, fully agree.
Yeah, okay, so let's introduce Lars. He is hanging out at the concession. He's played by Scream 3's Matt Kessler.
I know, and he is sporting a Swedish accent for 95% of his screen time, and it's real funny.
But it's like a Swedish chef.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it is a lot of these. You're just like somewhere between Italian and French and nowhere near Sweden.
Yeah, like I'm sure there are a lot of Swedes that are offended by this portrayal. So yes, that's very much 100%. What we're going for.
Yes. And so he reassures Florence that one day she will be boy crazy like every other girl, i.e., she will be normal, because this movie has a lot to say about being an outsider and what is normal behavior.
And I will say that is the one aspect of the serial killer stuff that I do think works.
I agree. Yes. The motivation is murky, but it also kind of perfectly makes sense.
Yep.
Okay, so also at the concession stand is Rhonda, played by Kathleen Robertson from 90210.
And Scary Movie 2.
And Scary Movie 2, previous episode. So she is a disabled girl in a wheelchair, and her defining trait is that she will insult the fuck out of you.
She is a bitch. Like, so she has this kind of perky introduction, and then she just changes into, yeah, I heard you're having your dick cut off and turning into a girl.
Yes, which, folks, if you didn't catch it, this is a reference to Christine Jorgensen, who's one of the first transgender public figures who surgically transitioned with the help of a doctor in Denmark in 1952.
Oh, okay. There you go.
Yeah. Okay, so let's get an introduction to Marvel Ann, the Amy Adams character. And it's fun to think about the fact that she had been in Drop Dead Gorgeous, which is another film that people compared this movie to. And that would have just been the year before.
Well, she plays kind of the same character.
This one, she's more overtly sexual, whereas in Drop Dead Gorgeous, she's stupid sexual.
I mean, I would say she's stupid here too, but yeah, she has aspects of a mean girl to her that did not accompany her character in Drop Dead Gorgeous, though.
No. It's just so funny to think of Amy Adams' career trajectory where she started in a bunch of movies like this before now it's like, oh, you will never see that bitch in anything other than Prestige because she is still chasing that Oscar.
Unless it's Night Bitch, I guess.
Well, I mean, I was still chasing that Oscar. Let's be clear.
Yeah. I heard it was so boring.
No interest, but you know what? If she likes something, good for her. I always enjoy an Amy Adams performance.
Yeah, absolutely. See previous episode, Nocturnal Animals.
There we go. Yes. Okay, so Marvel Ann is trying to catch the attention of a psychology refugee student, Starcat, Nicholas Brennan, and their introduction to each other is suggestively eating ice cream sandwiches.
Yeah, and this is fun. I think it goes on for a little too long, but it's fun. It's. I think I get the enjoyment out of watching Amy Adams do this. Yeah. It's something where you would expect to see a boy being lecherous in the way that he eats something to try to garner female attention. So it's enjoyable that she seems to be the one who kind of instigates it. Also that she's in a car with 4 boys. Like, it's just her and 4 boys. Yeah, like, you know, the movie visually codes her as a giant slut right from the get-go, even though we never actually see her do anything. We don't see anyone do anything in this movie, do? Oh, but I guess that's the beach party. That's the joke. Yeah. Okay. Actually, I'm sorry. Then that really also calls to mind the Brady Bunch movies. A little bit. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay, so back at the concession stand, Florence is trying to hold the attention of the counterman, who is played in a blink and you'll miss it cameo by one Nicholas DeGosto, who folks will recognize from Final Destination 5. And if you were a sitcom watcher of NBC like 5 years ago, Trial and Error. Lady Driver. Still the joke that fucking cracks me up so bad. Great show, 2-season wonder. Go watch it. It's amazing. Yeah, so good. So good. Okay, but he, like most boys in this world, is very distracted by the female figure and one who is
let's say, a little bustier, such as Mercedes McNabb from Buffy. She played Harmony. So she shows up very briefly and he gets distracted. And this is the first taste that we will get of the Anne character when Florence suddenly switches into barky, demanding, kind of femme fatale mode.
Yes, and so what sets her off is the spiral sign for snacks at the concession stand. And so you're kind of like, okay, like she was hypnotized by a spiral. We will come to learn that it's just circles.
Yes. Yep. It's so stupid. It's very funny.
It's very funny. But yeah, she immediately changes, and you can always tell when it's Anne. Well, obviously her entire demeanor and like her like posture changes, but she starts using crude language and profanity.
Yeah, she's very profane. She will use a swear word to get your attention. But I mean, Lauren Ambrose handles these shifts so well. The whole personality changes on a dime, and it's utterly convincing.
For sure. And I'm so confused as to why we just don't get more. Because every time we get the Anne character, I'm just like, yes, this movie is like working. It's going. And I like Ambrose's Florence.
Sure.
But she's not the
fun.
She's not the main source of the comedy for me.
No, because she's still the protagonist, so she kind of has to anchor the emotional beats and lead a lot of the different narratives and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I wonder if they were afraid of overusing this as a bit of a comedic trope.
I guess I could see that, but then I'm just like, but that's how the play works. But then I guess you have two other personalities on the disc that you can play with as well, so it's not just Anne filling the time. But it is mostly Anne, with the other three like making occasional appearances throughout the play.
Okay. I would have been fine to have kept the number of appearances the same, but given us a more sustained amount of it. Because it usually turns up and she'll say one or two lines, and then she reverts back to Florence/Chiclet.
Yeah. Oh, that's the thing, right? It's like Florence, Chiclet, and like just so many different names.
Yeah. Like, how does she even remember what name to respond to by the end of this movie?
Chiclet is obviously playing off of Gidget as well.
Yes, of course. Yeah. Okay, so around this time we introduce our first murder. So there was a girl whose boyfriend had to leave her because he was getting so turned on he has to go and masturbate, otherwise he will get her pregnant, and this girl gets her throat slit in the back of a car.
Yep, and then we get the title card and a lovely dancing go-go girl over these opening credits.
Yes, I was partially hoping that if we did do some kind of song and dance routine that she would come back or have a troupe or something like this. We do get a dance-off near the end when we sort of kick off the luau, and I did appreciate that, but I was kind of hoping that this lady would make a reappearance, and she does, but only for the end credits.
Yeah, it's something where, again, talking about earlier how, like, you know, like all these movies had, like, they would bring in, like, musical acts a la Saturday Night Live to their film. Like, have a musical number or a dance number or something like that. I mean, Grease is pulling off of these beach party movies so much. Like, do something like that.
Yeah. I wonder if it was a budget thing.
Maybe, too, because musical numbers are expensive.
Yeah. Okay, so let's introduce Captain Monica Stark, who is played by Charles Busch in drag. And I gotta say, the drag looks good.
Oh, no, I really do like this character a lot. She gets some of the best bits in the movie.
Oh, for sure. We also have her partner, Detective Cookie Molaski, who is played by Jenica Berger.
Coded lesbian or just lesbian?
Yeah, it could really go either way. She's very much a butch female police officer, and like her job is to serve Butch. But also, she kind of disappears throughout the course of the film. It really just becomes about Captain Stark.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, so these two are questioning Florence and Berdine until Florence's mother, Ruth, who, as you mentioned, is played by Beth Broderick from Sabrina the Teenage Witch. So she shows up, and she's very protective of her daughter. So this isn't the Soviet Union, so no, you will not be questioning my daughter.
And she really wants her to pickle those beets.
Yes, yeah. This movie has a very fun relationship to food that I would like to talk about, but mostly just where we're talking about Provolone's constipation.
Oh my god, there's so much poop talk in this movie.
It's a lot of juvenile poop talk, yeah. Okay, so we go home, and this is where we learn that Ruth has been widowed 3 times. She clarifies she has lost 2 husbands in the big war and 1 in Korea because Lars is staying with them for the summer, and he has suggested, oh, Ruth, why don't you just get remarried? And there is this wisecracky line where she basically makes it sound like she's defrauding the pension checks or something. I was like, we got to do anything with that? No? Okay. okay.
Yeah. And we all these like terms at the time, like she calls Stark Flatfoot, which I was like, is that a slur? But that's just apparently a name for a cop.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the big takeaway with Ruth is that she's a single mother, but also she is sexually frustrated and she just doesn't know what to do with it. So even in this moment where she insists on being domesticated, she's going to do the laundry because she hasn't done it since, her husband's died.
Right.
And so she's hand washing Lars's urine-stained jockstrap in the sink.
Yeah.
You're just like, okay.
She really gets off on it. And this is a character, I really don't know if the film fully utilizes her to
I don't think so.
its advantage. And I remember that was actually, when I first watched it, I was really excited. I was like, oh my God, I'm going to get to see like Aunt Zelda, like kind of like being this R-rated, like silly movie.
Right.
But yeah, she is told to play it straight, and it's fine. Like,
it's fine.
Her jokes are better in the earlier parts of the film, and then kind of as they go on, and she just kind of like shows up.
She just becomes a concerned mother, and it's not as interesting. I did end up really liking this character.
Yeah.
I will also confess that as somebody who didn't watch Sabrina the Teenage Witch, like I knew of it. I'd seen clips and trailers and so on, but it wasn't something that I was watching because I was aged out of that.
Sure.
I find it difficult to separate between her and Bettina because, like, they're both, beautiful middle-aged blondes. And there were times where I was like, oh, that's the mom having an affair with somebody at the beach house. And that was like, no, that's the actress.
Oh,
from
yeah,
the beginning.
You just need Bettina to talk because she has that really breathy Marilyn Monroe voice.
It's so Jennifer Tilly.
Yeah, exactly that. But it's also just because the mom's primary purpose in the back half of the film is to be a red herring.
Yeah. And we do that with a couple of people. So it's fine. But I agree with you. I would have taken more of this character and let her go off the leash a little bit.
Yeah, let me see that needlepoint she's doing at 9 p.m. every night.
Right? Because it's just her needle pointing dicks.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, so Florence and Berdine accompany boy-hungry Marvel Ann to Malibu Beach, and this is mostly so that we can watch the boys surf. And I will say, I love a dumb sight gag that doesn't call attention to itself.
The green screen.
No, well, that is great, yes. But no, I love Berdine putting on sunglasses over top of her regular glasses when we get to the beach.
Oh, yes. And again, there's some good like again wordplay going on here. Should I unpack my bongos? I intend to unpack mine.
Yeah, so we are trying to catch the boys' attention with said bongos. The problem is that boys like Provolone, who is played by Andrew Levatis, as well as Yo-Yo, who is played by Nick Cornish, they're a little too busy roughhousing Trace.
They're gay. They're gay.
Yeah. They're gay. The movie knows it. They know it, but they just can't accept it. So we express our physical admiration for one another via lots of beach shirtless wrestling.
Yeah, they're very sweaty and shiny from all the sunscreen. Like this. And this is hot.
It's hot. Yeah. His boys are good looking. And it's fun because they're so dumb himbo that there's just nothing more to it. Like, these aren't characters. They're just the queer boys who don't know that they're queer or are not willing to accept it yet.
But one thing I do appreciate about this movie, especially given that it came out in 2000, is that it does follow through. It doesn't like just tease the queerness and like just not do anything with it. It culminates in something. Yeah,
we don't know homo of this shit. And it's very nice. But also, I would say this is, again, why I think people talk about this film in comparison to something like But I'm a Cheerleader, because it's that indie queer spirit that sort of percolates through, where it's like, well, there's money on the line, but not so much money that I can't actually embrace the queerness of these characters.
For sure. I get that.
I feel like we don't get stuff like this anymore. It's like, oh no, I'm making an explicitly queer movie because I need to get it onto Netflix or Logo or something. Like, this just feels like, oh, I got the people I wanted to make a movie with, and 90% of them just happen to be queer.
Yeah.
Because, we're a theater troupe or something.
Yeah.
Okay, so yes, we have set our sights on Star Cats. So Marvelan is very much trying to get his attention. Oops, my top came loose. Can you help me tie it? And Trace, how much did you love the reason that she can't drive in this movie?
Oh my God, but because she ran over an old lady at a crosswalk. Parents are so square.
It's great. This is when I knew immediately I was going to enjoy this character. And again, could have taken a little bit more of her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Amy Adams, you can tell that she's a star because she commits to this bit very, very, very well.
Yes, and this is a thoroughly, like, one-dimensional character. It's, the boy-hungry hot girl. Mm-hmm. But also, in Amy Adams's hands, it feels like a fully fleshed-out character.
Yeah, she makes her two-dimensional.
Yeah, there we go. There we go. Okay, so Florence ends up joining the boys to see if they will teach her how to surf, but they say no because she's a girl and they don't want minnows in the shark tank.
Oh my God, they kept calling the soup is what they call the beach.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of surfing lingo, there's a lot of beach lingo, and it's all very fun.
Important to note, though, surf movies are very different from beach movies.
Oh, shit. I just made a cardinal sin, didn't I?
Yeah. Even though beach movies incorporated surfing, surf movies were different.
Okay, so one of them, their job was surfing, and one of them, their job was beach.
Yeah, I guess. Apparently surfing, there was also a lot more documentaries about surfing, so people are like, oh no, when you say surf movie, you're actually talking about a surf documentary. And I'm like, okay, sure.
Now we know. Insert the NBC star.
Don't make this mistake again.
Okay. So basically, Florence decides she will trip psoriasis-suffering Junior, who is played by Buddy Quaid, to try to learn more because we name-dropped that there is a great surfer who lives in a shack on the beach named Kanaka, and maybe he will teach us how to surf. So we seek him out, and he is played by Thomas Gibson of Dharma and Greg.
I was going to say Dharma and Greg! I don't think anyone on our podcast probably knows what that is, but I definitely watched that when I was a kid.
Famous sitcom. I feel like we've talked about him before, but I can't remember in what capacity we would have.
We probably talked about Jenna Elfman before, because she's the star of Dharma and Greg. No one cares about Greg.
Wow. Okay. I think that Thomas Gibson is a lot of fun in this, especially his attraction to Anne. Like, he has no interest in this underage Florence girl, but he is very interested in this sexually domineering Anne, who presents as much more adult.
No, I agree, and I think he's funnier in those scenes and significantly less so when Anne's not around him.
Agreed. Yeah. Except if he's interacting with Stark, because he has a previous relationship with her as well.
Yeah. But he's also, I mean, like, he's older, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I'm like
he's supposed to be an old beach bum. Like, him hanging out with teenage boys is supposed to be weird.
Yeah. I guess, yeah.
So, like, sense. Maybe gently statutory rape coded, but this movie obviously is not entirely PC in the way that it's handling things.
No, and I would argue it doesn't go far enough, but yes, I agree.
All right, so we get a little bit of our green screen surfing action. I love this. We're not even going to try to pretend that these actors know how to surf. We will occasionally have real surfers who are doing stand-in stuff, but they do not look anything like the actual actors. Yeah. And I love it. It's like, no, it's artifice. It's camp.
Well, and I think this is probably exactly how those beach party movies in the 60s did it too. So yeah, absolutely. Like, just, you don't need to even heighten it. Just copy it, and the joke is made.
Exactly. So the boys are concerned that Kanaka may ultimately take Florence on as a pupil. And Trace, I have a question for you. They suggest that if girls begin to surf, the world is going to change. And they suggest that Kanaka might begin eating frozen waffles and wearing a cardigan. Is that supposed to connote that he's going to become like a domesticated regular dude? Or is that like, oh, you might become a bit gay?
I'm so glad you asked that, because I just honed in on the word cardigan in this phrase, because in the past year, I have really gotten into wearing cardigans, and I was like, wait, what does that mean?
What does that mean for me? Oh, maybe it means everything. Yeah. Is it a little bit limperist?
Yeah, I guess so. But I took it to mean like, oh, only women wear cardigans. But I don't know. I didn't quite understand. But yeah,
and eating frozen waffles.
Yeah, I thought mention. Yeah, right. Like, do women eat frozen waffles a lot? Like, what's the joke there? But I mean, it's funny just because it's
so bizarre.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay. So the boys nickname Florence Chiclet, and they do this in a disparaging negative way, but she will happily take this on. So, she's looking for any kind of ounce of recognition or acceptance from these boys. So she's like, yeah, I'll be Chiclet. And so we will mostly refer to her as such for the rest of the film.
Well, the boys will.
Right. Well, I think even Burdine does in moments where she's not happy with who Florence has become.
I kept going back and forth in my notes where I was like, Chiclet, Florence, because people would because her mother always calls her Florence too.
Yes, yeah, of course.
Yeah, but
it felt like Chiclet for the cool people and Florence for like the squares or old people.
The squares.
The squares, man. Get into it, Daddy-o. All right. This is also where we introduce the concept of the haunted house on the beach, and we see a mysterious blonde walking in and out of it. Ooh. All right. So at the diner, Rhonda is mocking Pat, the waitress, who is played by Ruth Williamson. She's also making fun of Burdine. Everything that Kathleen Robertson is saying is very, very funny.
Would have taken more of this character, but unfortunately, by the rules of the slasher film, we have to lose her, which I wonder if she actually has a bigger part in the stage play then.
Maybe. I could also see this character being added to the film because hypothetically you could take this character out.
Yeah,
it's just kind
true.
of like window dressing to flesh out the rest of the world.
Well, because it's funny because you see her, you're like, why is she in a wheelchair? And I don't mean like, what happened to the character to put her in a wheelchair? It's I'm talking from in the movie, why are you having this character in a wheelchair? And it makes sense later once we get the killer's MO.
Right.
But at this point, it's just kind of like one of those funny, like almost like a character quirk.
A little bit, yeah. Like, I think the movie gets a lot of mileage initially out of activating our sympathies. And yes, I'm going to call myself for being ableist, where you see a person in a wheelchair and you think, oh, I should be nice to that person. And then that person's a fucking asshole. And you're like, oh, what? I'm confronted. As if, people with disabilities can't also be assholes.
Like, what is she saying? She like comments on her bald spot. And I'm like, what?
Yeah. Yeah, like this character is just a full-blown cunt all the time.
I love
and it's great because you're just like, oh, why can't she be?
Mm-hmm.
And you realize, oh, it's because I'm inherently ableist. Got it. Check. Yeah. Okay, so Burdine is waiting for Florence, but of course Florence isn't coming because she's still trying to hang out and impress the boys, but also because she's trying to score an invite to the big end of the summer luau, aka the orgy.
Okay, so we get so many uses of like the circles that trigger Anne Bowman to come out of Florence, and this next one might be my favorite one, which are 2 circles of sand on one of these guys' butts that are clearly made of CGI.
Yes.
And then they get blown away and then she gets triggered.
Yeah, it's so stupid. So, of course, we do have a murder here. So this is Junior, the psoriasis-suffering individual who, I don't know, he's not really a big character. He shows up in, I think, 2 scenes here. But we get a little bit more of yo-yo and provolone oil wrestling, like proper oil wrestling. Mm-hmm. And I like the film's recognition that the other boys seem to notice, like, oh, this is fun. Wait, it's getting a little gay here, guys.
just the side eye.
Yeah.
And yeah, we do make a point to really like just highlight Junior's psoriasis. Like every time we mention Junior, like psoriasis is in the same sentence.
Yeah. Everybody has a kind of defining trait, especially the secondary characters. So, it's going to be wheelchair Rhonda, psoriasis Junior, all those other stuff. Okay. So we find pieces of Junior the next day buried around the beach. So this means that we need to start asking questions like, hey, who's got an alibi? And Kanaka immediately provides Chiclet with hers, in part because he's obsessed with Anne and hoping that this will endear him to her. And then we have the confirmation of a relationship between Captain Stark and him. And he even tells the boys that they boffed once in West Covina.
West Covina, man. Doesn't that just bring you back to Crazy Ex-Girlfriend?
Yes, indeed. Yeah. Is it Covina or Corvina? I had Corvina in my notes.
It's Covina.
Covina.
I have sang the song West Covina from the Crazy Ex-Girlfriend pilot 100,000 times. So I can tell you it's Covina.
Okay. This is why I love using my notepad, because it just artificially corrects things. And I'm like, oh, cool. Now I sound like an idiot.
It's also probably because just a few weeks ago, we were talking about Phenomena, in which Jennifer Connelly's character was Jennifer Corbino.
Oh my God. The spiritual sequel.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You know, after I couldn't hack it on the Malibu beach, I had to go to an Italian/Swiss girls' school.
In West Corvina.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my God. So stupid. Okay, so late that night, Chicklet talks to a shirtless Lars when she can't sleep. This is basically just to remind us that Lars is in the movie. He will pop up sporadically. Though I will say, you know, just in keeping with the juvenile sense of humor the film has, he blames her inability to sleep on Ruth's beef tornadoes, as if to suggest like, oh, you ate too much beef. And then he says, if I didn't stop you, you would have taken all my meat.
Love a double entendre.
Yes, indeed. All right, so the next day on the beach, our mystery blonde is revealed to be Bettina Barnes. This is the movie actress from the drive-in at the start, and Berdine ultimately accepts her offer to become her assistant, in part because, well, Florence is not paying any attention or time with me, so I'm going to go off with this other hot lady.
Well, I do like this though, because Berdine, like, I don't think we mentioned this at the top, but like she is doing like academic reads of the schlocky sci-fi films and horror films that she's watching at the drive-in. And when she says something similar to Bettina's like, yes, that's exactly what I've been saying. And so I do like this because it means Bettina is smarter than like how she is like characterized.
Sure.
But it also does give Bettina and Berdine like a little bit of a friendship going on.
Absolutely, yeah. And if that friendship should involve, you know, slumber parties and dressing up in each other's clothes and so on, then so be it. But yeah, I love that Bettina is a Marilyn and a Jackie. So
yes, a Betty and a Veronica.
There we go, yeah. Okay, so Starcat and Chicklet continue their will they, won't they. Obviously, it's going to lead to a will, but he collects her when she falls off of her surfboard, and it seems like they're kind of having a bit of a moment, but then she calls him perfectly perfect, and this upsets him greatly, and we end up stomping away from each other.
Yeah, will they, won't they? There you go.
Yeah. So at Bettina's place, we learn about the murder of the Elkins family, which was committed by their son, Larry. And of course, this has the, you know, air of an urban legend. Nobody's really believing in it. But, you know, folks, put it in the back of your cap because it'll come back later.
It's clearly not going to come back later.
No, never. So Berdine offers to perform a slumber party exorcism, and Chicklet is only allowed to attend when Anne comes out to help her by slapping her mother in the face for being a prude.
Oh my God. Love this.
This is good stuff. Okay, so cut to the slumber party. We've got Bettina briefly raising the temperature in the room. Yep.
Wait. Oh, sorry. So this actually isn't Anne that slaps her mother, though. This is the other personality.
Oh, is it? Is it?
Yeah. It is Tylene because, again, Lauren Ambrose's vocal affectation is less...
It's more blaxploitation-y, isn't it?
Yes. Oh, fuck.
I was getting like a coffee kind of vibe.
Because it sounds like the AAVE, African American Vernacular English.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Yeah, so I remember that because it's not made clear at this point in the film that she has more than one personality. And so this came out and I was like, she sounds different. Like, what is this? And we'll get confirmation, of course, later that this is a different personality named Tylene.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't quite catch it because it's still, you know, very strong, assertive, a little bit profane. But yeah, now that I'm thinking back, there is a distinction between the two.
Yeah, I mean, she doesn't pop up very often. Like,
no, I think we only get 2 or 3 references to her.
Which, wouldn't it have been interesting if it was like, oh, a different shape triggers a different personality? Like triangles maybe do Tylene?
Yeah, that could have been interesting. Missed opportunity.
Yeah.
All right, so at the slumber party, Bettina briefly raises the temperature of the room because, of course, you know, she's talking about how her body feels everything that's going on, and all the teenage boys are horned up because here's this incredibly attractive actress who is hiding out from Hollywood, you know, talking about her body and stuff. Berdine, of course, ruins this because she can't read the room. Trace, would you eat jalapeno pancakes with peach sauce? Because that's what Bettina suggests she's going to make when the exorcism doesn't work out.
Yeah, no, I totally eat that. Like, that's one of those things where it's like the sweet and spicy, like the two things that shouldn't go together, but I bet they taste amazing.
Right. Okay. This was an unusual combination, but now that you're saying that out loud, it does make me hungry, and I would like to try it.
I mean, admittedly, I've never put like jalapenos in my pancakes, but then I think about like an Asian place where they have green onion pancakes, but they're not like the breakfast pancakes.
Right. Okay. Yeah, maybe I'm stuck on breakfast food.
I mean, it probably is like just like fucking like Bisquick, like pancake mix, but
in this time period, probably.
Yeah.
So the group starts to split up a little bit. This is a little bit horror-y, right? Mm-hmm. You know, so we have a testicular-focused TJ who is basically Karen from Mean Girls, where he can feel temperature changes and other things in his testicles.
Yeah.
He is played by Nathan Bexton, so he stays with Bettina because he's the one who's most horned up by her. Meanwhile, we have Yo-Yo and Provolone trying on sheer feathered outfits in her room. And then we have Chicklet talking to Starcat because, yes, he's got this psychology background where he went to college because he is also older than her. Yeah. So she asks him for help diagnosing her friend, and he suggests that they probably suffer from morbidly psychotic episodes of schizophrenia. You're like, oh, okay.
Yeah, it's again, movies DID, but we were always calling multiple personality schizophrenia back then. But I wish I cared more about the Starcat Florence Chicklet romance. I just kept wanting to go back to Provolone and Yo-Yo trying on those 90s.
Yeah, they look like they're having a very good time until they're reminded, oh, there's other boys here and you quote unquote can't behave this way. Like they would have loved to have stayed and played dress up. So
But nevertheless, Chicklet and Starcat make a truce here. They're going to be nice to each other from now on.
Yeah, they're going to give it a go. So this is the next stage of their will they, won't they, somewhere in between. But unfortunately, we have another murder, Trace. So TJ has been killed by a black glove hand, and he has a testicle stuffed in his mouth.
One thing I did appreciate, too, is that Florence, by this point, is actually starting to suspect that she might be the killer.
Yes, because she even confides in Berdine that she is basically suffering from blackout. She's losing time, and Berdine is like, oh, okay, let me keep track of that for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then we do get a flashback that confirms Captain Stark and Kanaka had a relationship. We see them having sex in his car.
Okay, this is great because I love the way this is. So we're doing almost like a shot reverse shot with the sex scene in the car. But anytime we're on the reverse shot, like the backside of Agent Monica Stark, it's clearly a woman because we see her titties flopping around.
Yeah. It's a fun way of filming this because, as I said, the drag is good, but it's not an illusion. Like, we very clearly know that this is a man in a wig and a dress and so on. So I like this, we're going to play with it just because performance is drag.
Yeah. And I guess to correct us from earlier, this is actually an actual sex scene in the movie.
It is indeed. And your trivia, so Trace, I initially was like, maybe we'll play a game. And then I was like, no, we actually are doing multiple recordings today. It's going to run long, so I'm not going to do that. But your question would have been, which scene of this film was removed from the Spanish edit?
Oh, is it this one?
Spoiler, it's this sex scene. We took it out. Which I was like, Spain? The land of Pedro Almodovar took out this fucking drag queen sex scene? What the fuck are we doing?
I guess. Man, that is weird. Yeah, but I guess it's,
No, I don't. I mean, here's the thing. Spain is famously very progressive, but also ultra conservative. It depends on like how you cut it. So
I guess I wonder if it's because this is a man having sex with a man, technically.
Yes, exactly.
No, man, that's bizarre.
Yeah. Okay, but we did learn that the relationship between these two broke up in the past because her career was on the rise. She wanted to become a captain in this very restrictive time and place, and he wanted her to be thinking about getting married and having babies. So we broke up. So this is like very feminist, and I kind of fucking love it.
Yeah, same. Absolutely. This is all fun. It's all very fun.
Yeah. So Stark starts to make notice that all the victims have something in common, and it is that they were all different in some way. So they had, something unusual about them. So psoriasis, a wheelchair, one testicle,
hair lip was one of them.
Yeah. So then, of course, the movie tries to give us a red herring reveal by immediately cutting to Ruth talking about how she hates imperfection.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and to which I was like, okay, so maybe she's not the killer because this is too obvious of like of an arrow pointing.
It's very obvious, yes. So despite the murders, Kanaka refuses to cancel the luau because it is the event of the summer, and Chicklet is finally starting to make progress on her surfing, so cue the green screen again. This is when Captain Stark asks a therapist for a profile of the killer. I really like this, if only because Bush's facial looks, because like the way this is framed is, we have Monica Stark like just in the center of the frame, but then we get these little thought bubbles as she starts visualizing the people that... Who are the suspects? Yeah. But whoever the therapist is like describing in their profile, like she's switching them out in her little thought bubble. But her facial expressions, it's so over the top, like interested. Like, ooh, what? That person, how would that work? Yeah. This is good. Yeah, I like this a lot. It's very, very fun. And we end this by suggesting that the killer will do anything to pass as normal. So again, it makes sense once you get to the MO, once you get to the reveal, but ultimately this is not that helpful in terms of information. No, if anything, it's just saying, hey, audience, we know you're thinking it might be these people. Yeah, exactly. And it's half the cast. Yeah, which I appreciate. I think, honestly, that's a really good way for a murder mystery to be like, hey, you think it's some of these people? Maybe it is. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's not. Yeah. Okay, so we have Kanaka figuring out what Chiclet's hypnotic trigger is. So he makes the connection that it is circles. He tries to activate this, and so I mistakenly believe that this is the first time that Tylene came out. But yeah, we do get the line, I will cut you, which I love because I do say that in my regular life. But I do love this, though, because, I don't know if it's at this point or if maybe it's the next scene that we get with them together, but he has hung circles, like, all over his apartment. All over, trying to activate her everywhere she looks. Yeah, a beach house. I'm sorry, not an apartment, but, like, whatever. But, it's really, 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 like, the desperation's hilarious. Yeah, because I can't remember if it's in this scene or some other time, but we see that Anne has actually kind of gone to town on his body. Like, he looks like he's been cut up on the side. And you're just like, oh, that's aggressive. Okay, so Benita, Burdine, Yo-Yo, and Provolone hit the diner. And yes, this is where we all will be insulted by Rhonda, but it's okay because she's really only been reintroduced so that we can decapitate her in the next scene. And again, it's really great because we see her severed head like wheeling around on the tipped over wheelchair, but it's clearly like a stage production severed head. Fake. It's so fake looking. It's delicious. It's really, and it's that shamelessness of like, look at how good this looks. I love that. I wish there was more of that. Yeah. It's the wink, wink, knowing recognition. Oh, we had $0 of budget for this. Isn't it convincing? So they don't know that she is dead yet, so we're still inside the diner. We do learn that Provolone is having issues with constipation, so we see him get delivered a bowl full of prunes. I thought this was like meant to be the whole thing I thought was meant to be a bottoming joke, where it's like, oh yeah, I need to loosen up so that I can like take that dick. But it's really just, until he accepts his gayness, he will be constipated. Yeah, here's the thing. I thought the exact same thing, and I think you're meant to believe both. Like, I do think that that's part of the joke. I'll take it. Yeah. Because the reality is that the minute that he recognizes his queerness, he does realize, oh, now I can go. But also then it's like, maybe now I'm ready to bottom. Yeah. Okay, so this is when Chiclet shows up as we're getting our food, but she is fully in Anne mode. So she is wearing a red feather boa. She's wearing sunglasses. So this is Burdine's first real taste of Anne, and she comes out of it very quickly. So that just kind of confirms, oh, right, yeah, this is happening. I'm suffering blackouts and I'm doing things. Oh, wait, there was a murder just outside. But again, at least Burdine and then Florence / Chiclet will they'll team up for this because now they're both in on it. Yes, yeah, we're not keeping anybody in the dark for the purposes of delaying revelations in the narrative, which is nice. Yeah. So, we know that people are being targeted for being different, so Captain Stark brings in all the boys, because all the murders seem to be happening within this one friend group as well, so they could be next on the hit list. Hey, is there anything vaguely different about you? This is where Yo-Yo fully confesses his feelings for Provolone, and he is not ready, so Provolone rushes out, because he's not ready to accept it. Yeah, and, he's just constipated, so he's probably really uncomfortable. Sure, that too, yeah. Burdine does pledge to protect Chiclet's secret and even leans in for a kiss. This is interrupted by Lars. And it's very I think disappointing for Berdine. We don't really spend a lot of time, and we don't actually ever get a coming out scene or a public declaration, which is a little disappointing because the film does do that for so many other characters.
Well, maybe it was that, hey, you can have one gay couple in this movie, but you can't have a second one. And so I do respect them that if that was the case or whatever, like we're just doing one gay couple, we at least do the mem, because I feel like it would be the go-to to make it the girls, to make it lesbians, right?
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
I feel like, because lesbians, I think, are more accepted by the mainstream than gays sometimes.
Sometimes, yeah, depends.
Yeah.
I will say that this scene contains one of my favorite of all the jokes in the film. Of course, it's another Lars joke. So he asks if Chiclet or Florence will hem his pants pocket because every time he sticks his hand in, he feels a prick.
I missed that joke.
So bad. So good. So Chiclet overhears Marvel Ann dumping Starcat. She's hiding around the fender of a car, and it doesn't go well. He goes to grab Marvel Ann as she leaves, and he accidentally rips off her bikini bottom, and you get to see side Amy Adams' butt.
I actually did think this was because you can actually see her crack, but I think there's something in her crack to like prevent the crack from showing.
Yeah, she has some kind of like modesty garment.
Like a wedge or something in her crack.
Yeah, basically. Which is good. I mean, I don't know how old Amy Adams was, but I can't imagine that she was very old. So I don't need to see a naked teenage actor. That's fine.
I don't think she was a teenager when she was doing this, but...
Well, here's the thing. I don't think this movie needed female nudity then. We'll put it that way.
Sure. But I do, yeah. I think it's also, it's early in her career. You know, is she really going to like go nude this early in her career?
No, you got to wait until you really want that Oscar. And then, you know, you show the tits to go legits.
She would have been 26, by the way.
Oh my God, really?
Yeah.
That is wild. She looks 17, I think.
Yeah, 26. She was born in 74.
Okay, good. Good for her. All right, so Chiclet and Starcat decide that they are going to reenact the sexy times he had with Marvel Ann, and this is when he starts to talk about all the graphically sexual things. So, you know, he would just put his penis on her lips, and she would take him in, and, you know, she would fondle his balls and tickle his anus.
With her finger. This sounds like a joke out of one of those Wayans Brothers scary movies, like where it just kind of keeps going and it gets raunchier and raunchier and raunchier.
Yes, which is ironic because exactly the same year, Trace.
Right? Isn't that wild?
Mm-hmm.
And I think there is something too with like anus playing in that movie as well. But
I think so.
But yeah, this was really funny. Again, wish we had more jokes like it.
This is more the direction that I thought the jokes were going to go in because we have the R rating and, you know, like, sure, it's a teen, quote unquote, beach blanket film, but I fully thought that we were going to do more profanity and more blue jokes.
Yeah, me too. But we keep it mostly innocent.
Yeah.
But you know, there's that R rating just dangling there.
Yes, like an anus to be tickled. That R rating is right there. So Starcat confronts Kanaka about Chiclet because he is also starting to suspect that she might be the killer, and the men ultimately end up fighting. We actually punch her in the face.
Yeah, we do. And this is the scene where he's got all the circles hung up all over his shack, by the way.
Yes, yeah. And then Ruth comes in, and her daughter is unconscious between these two men who look a little aggressive in the moment. So she is very confronted by their gang bang.
Yeah.
She says that they better get good lawyers because she's going to press charges against them, and then she takes her daughter away.
Well, to her oboe recital, because we can't miss the oboe recital.
Yes. These are the important things to Ruth, is being a good mother, a good housewife, you know, really like virtuous 50s style issues.
Yeah, exactly that.
So Captain Stark decides we're going to play with some anagrams because we have a license plate of the killer and maybe that's going to tell us some things. So we play around with it. They're all absolutely ludicrous examples. And ultimately it comes out, oh, it just spells Ruth Forrest.
Okay, but like, honestly, props to Busch for getting this dialogue down.
Oh my God, tongue twister.
I was trying to follow, it's like, you know, oh, move the A to the 4th slot, blah, 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 blah. And we do this like 3 or 4 times before we finally land our Ruth Forrest.
Move the R back to the 4th spot.
Yeah, it is. This is some tricky, it's a monologue, basically. And he pulls it off with aplomb.
Yeah, it's really fun. It's really like, and again, the payoff is so stupid. That's what makes it funny. So I did quite like this. And, you know, it seems like, oh, so Ruth might be the person We remember she was identified as a red herring early on, so it seems like we might be on to something. But I would argue that the edit here completely confirms that it is Lars, because we go right from, oh, it's Ruth Boris, and then we cut, and it's Lars in the kitchen with Ruth. And you're like, that seems to be a cut, like a strategic cut to tell us, no, it's actually Lars.
Well, because she does tell him in this moment, oh, you can take the Dodge because I never use it.
Exactly.
And of course you could think, oh, it's her lying to like cover it up. Like, no, it's very much, oh yeah, Lars has access to the car. He does it. And then she gets, this is actually probably Broderick's best bit of comedic, like physical comedy, where she gets drunk and really tries to come on to Lars.
Yeah, so a light has gone out in the kitchen and he goes up on the ladder to try to replace it. But, you know, this is a euphemism where she would like him to handle other things for her. And when he doesn't really either understand or refuses to acknowledge her come-ons, she just yells, maybe just screw the goddamn bulb in the socket.
Yes.
And it's really good because she's a gifted comedian and I am not. So imagine that funny.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you're funny sometimes.
I try. I do my best. So in the wake of Chiclet being discovered in the arms of two different strange men by her mother, she has been grounded, which means she's going to miss the luau trace. Except Berdine is here to bust her out and insist, nope, we're going to go to this party because you've been working to get the invitation all fucking summer, so let's do it. We see Benita is actually having a dance-off with Marvel Ann at the luau, and I do love that the actress beats the teenager.
Oh, yeah. I mean, because would it have been good if Marvel Ann won this?
No, she's a secondary antagonist, so we needed to put a little bit of humble pie into this girl. I love that she basically loses because she can't execute a jump properly in the sand.
Yes! So stupid.
It's very dumb. Very dumb. So I will also say I quite liked the joke where Starcat asks Marvel Ann, hey, have you seen Florence? Have you seen Chiclet? And she throws her glass in him and says, she's in the bottom of this glass.
I thought that was really funny. But see, okay, that actually seems like a line that would be in one of these movies. Like, I don't think that was even like written for this movie. I think this is just, like, it's really funny.
It feels like an old-fashioned joke that still works.
Yeah,
Yeah. All right, so we have Provolone freaking out because he is kissed by Yo-Yo, but this does help to cure his constipation. Ha ha.
Yeah, he immediately has to go diarrhea somewhere.
Yes.
Which doesn't turn off Yo-Yo. He's fine. Yeah, they're good.
I mean, boys will be boys, I guess. Chiclet arrives at this point, and she declares that she's going to kill anyone who gets in her way of being the life of the party. And this is, you know, those vocal jokes where you say the wrong thing that puts you into the light to being a suspect.
Yeah. I will say, though, a good sight gag I did like was when Berdine goes to sneak into Florence's room to get her to the party, she uses a mountain climbing grappling hook.
Which I think she says it's because she reads so much that that's how she knows how to use it.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. That's how these things work. So yes, Chiclet decides she's going to volunteer to be the virginal sacrifice to King Neptune, which is what the luau celebration is all about. Okay. I don't mind this because it's kind of funny. It doesn't really come to much of anything, but I don't know why at this stage in the game, like, folks, we are basically coming up to the climax of the movie. And we introduce a random nemesis for Kanaka in the form of Wedge Riley, played by Shannon Rowe.
Which I put Bobo Nixtal in my notes.
Yeah, so I know him from like a late 90s vampire show that I feel like I've referenced. It was a vampire soap opera by Aaron Spelling. I liked it. Kindred, The Embraced. He was hot. He was like the Romeo of the Romeo and Juliet love couple on the show. Very hot. Huh. I just don't think this movie needs a fucking another character at this moment.
Unless for some reason they just make him the killer and like just one of those like, oh yeah, it's this guy that's been in the background the whole time, but he's actually has not been in the background. But like, I and this comes to nothing. Like, do we even get any resolution between him and Kanaka?
No.
Yeah.
And we didn't even tease that Kanaka has other people that he's in competition against. Like, this is one of those dropped plot threads that maybe makes sense in some other capacity, or we really like Shannon Rowe, so we're going to bring him in. I don't get it. And it's not a deal breaker or anything, but by this point in the film, I was like, Why? Why are we doing this?
It's not a deal breaker because it also makes no impression whatsoever and has no bearing on anything that happens after his introduction. So it's like, yeah, It sucks that it's introduced because it means nothing, but it also doesn't hurt the film because it does nothing.
Yeah. Apart from, okay, so we have Chicklet volunteering to do this, so she's carried out by a gaggle of men, which again feels very beach party. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if this is in homage to some particular sequence in another film.
Right.
But she's carried out by a bunch of guys. Of course, she gets activated, so her hypnosis takes over. She switches into Anne character. And this is right as both her mother and Captain Stark arrive. And Starkcat says, hey, I can use my couple of semesters of psychology to deprogram her, essentially, so I can put her back under hypnosis, figure out where this is all coming from. And we decide we're going to do it. Ruth doesn't want to, but we go ahead with it. And we get a flashback of backstory trace as we discover that young Florence accidentally killed her brother on a swing set accident because they had been sent to play in the park while Ruth was fucking Sailor Johnny under the pseudonym of Anne Bowman. And I'm not going to lie. So this movie comes out in 2000. This flashback sequence with Mom with the sailor, Eyes Wide Shut, 1999.
Oh my God,
I don't know if it's actually a homage, but it was so similar. Like, even the change in color, I felt like it had to be deliberate.
So the hypnosis in general, this is apparently lifted directly out of Alfred Hitchcock's 1964 film Marnie, which I have not seen.
Oh, so good.
Yeah. It's funny because I feel like people didn't like it when it came out, but it's kind of like develops like it's gotten reappraised in the year since its release.
Yeah, it had a troubled production in terms of like, this is the one where he really fucked up Tippi Hedren. Like, I think it's the last movie that they made together. He was apparently terrible to her. But yeah, it was always considered a lesser Hitchcock film. I quite like it. It's all about psychology. Sean Connery's the male lead.
Yeah, it's probably also because it's coming after Vertigo, North by Northwest, Psycho, and The Birds, and then it's Marnie.
Yeah.
And so
it's the one that breaks the streak, essentially.
Yeah, basically. But then he follows that up with Torn Curtain, which also doesn't have a really good reception. So I don't know.
That one's supposed to be more of a comedy, isn't it?
No, that one's the one with Julie Andrews and Paul.
Oh,
Newman.
I'm thinking Family Plot.
Yeah, and that's his last one. So it was Marnie, then Torn Curtain, then Topaz, then Frenzy, then Family Plot, and that's the end of a Hitchcock's filmic career.
Right, and I have not seen any of those back ones.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't either, but I really do want to watch Family Plot because of the comedy aspect. Anyway, sorry. Detour. Yeah, so this is fun. This is an utterly ridiculous backstory. Like, this idea that she killed her brother performing around the world, which is where you push the swing set so far that it goes over the bar up top. The effects in this are so funny.
Yes, her brother Frankie just basically gets punted into the sky, and it's hilarious. Anyway, so yes, it's revealed that the reason she has these hypnotic suggestions is because her mother put her under so that she would forget being responsible for killing her younger brother.
Which, I guess, that...
It makes sense.
Yeah.
Sure. So, of course, Bettina has been listening to all of this, and she decides that this is exactly the kind of story that I can sink my dramatic teeth into, so she wants to option their story.
Well, because she can see a hit Broadway play.
Sure. Yes, because of course, remember, she's always been treated like a pretty face whose only use is really schlocky B-movie horror films.
Well, I also wonder this is Bush's way of being like, I deserve Broadway, not off-Broadway.
Right, yes, I could see it. So Stark ends up accusing Ruth of the murders, right? Like, oh,
yeah,
you did this to your daughter, but we also have your vehicle at the site of the murder. So we just arrest Ruth unceremoniously and cart her away.
And that's circumstantial evidence at best.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
But I also love that she's screaming motherfucking cocksuckers at them as she is getting carried away.
It's a bit out of character, but also I like it because it's a bit out of character.
For sure. Now, would I have liked for her to be dropping bombs like that throughout the film? Yes,
sure.
But that would have made this particular instance less shocking.
Yeah, I just think you could have really played with the demure housewife who wants to, be prim and perfect, but then also she's swearing like a sailor.
Well,
because she fucked that sailor.
I guess it's too similar though to what's happening with Florence.
I think so, but also like mother, like daughter.
That's right. Like make it hereditary almost.
Yeah. Or like, oh, I hypnotized you, but you just picked up my bad traits.
Yeah.
Anyway, it could have been fun. It's not what we get, so that's fine. So we have Lars offering to drive Chiclet home in the car. I do love the lighting. This is very film noir. We're basically putting them under a spotlight, so we're really just seeing a part of their eyes.
Yeah.
And of course, we all know that Lars is the true villain here, so we need to stop, drop, and roll out of this car before he can do anything.
Well, because he's the killer. He's the little boy Larry Elkins that murdered his entire family.
Yes. So we're paying it off. I actually like this reveal. You know, hearing you say that all of this murder stuff was actually added for the film isn't surprising, but I do think that this is a nice payoff for it.
Yeah, I think it's fine. I think ultimately, and we'll talk about the whole like climax we're going through here, but I kind of don't like that it's not Florence that kills Lars.
Sure. Yeah.
Or I'm sorry, or Anne Bowman that doesn't kill Lars.
Yeah. There's maybe another missed opportunity there. So basically, this is Larry, not Lars, not Swedish, so we don't need to pretend with the Swedish chef accent anymore. It's very firmly just American Larry now. And we're chasing after Chiclet with a knife. We're talking about the reason why he did all of this. So the reason he doesn't like differently abled people is because he grew up in a family filled with them. So he killed his blind mother, his deaf father, and then his M-word sisters.
Yes, which, whew, boy, yeah, tossing that word out.
Yeah.
But they had to die so I could be free. So yeah, he just
What?
Yeah, sure. But I guess that makes sense. Yeah, why not?
Larry, no. Go back to the institution, please.
But then they climb up to this marquee. So we have our entire finale up against this drive-in theater marquee, which again is really, really cool.
I really like this because the whole movie has been this playful homage, this gentle parody of films that clearly meant a lot to this creative team. And, you know, any movies that say, oh, we're going to set a big set piece around the movies because the movie is indebted to other films, it feels playful. It feels reverential. You know, I think that this is a smart way to do this. So we end up, yes, under the marquee, and we're threatening. I almost said Gidget. Yes. So before we climbed up to the marquee, we did have the personalities kind of helping. So, you know, more aggressive, more assertive. Chiclet does get a stab in on his back. But when we get up to the marquee, she's pretty much helpless. So he's going to kill her, but then this is when Captain Stark climbs up and we shoot him, and this is the end of him.
Yep, he just falls to his death, and yeah, that's it.
Well, and I gotta say, this line that Stark delivers is weak sauce. I was looking for something stupid, funny, just something that's more memorable, and what we get is, that's the end of that.
Yeah, well, because the movie's about to set up its big reveal.
I guess.
I know,
yeah.
right?
Okay, so to wrap up this storyline, we have both women falling off of the marquee. So Starkhat catches Chiclet, and Kanaka catches Captain Stark, and Chiclet is now cured, so she agrees that she's going to wear Starkhat's pin. He's going to go back to school. Yay, everything's going to be okay. And then we get a double twist final reveal that this is actually all secretly in Florence's head, and she has been receiving electroshock treatments in an asylum. So that's twist one.
Yeah, we're doing a full Wizard of Oz here, and you were there, because Rhonda, the wheelchair girl, this is the nurse that's giving her the electroshock therapy.
Yeah, and I think TJ or Sarias, this guy, is like one of the male attendants who's holding her down. Yeah, like you're meant to recognize, oh, these are people that we saw in the film.
The murder victims are the ones that are like in the hospital with her.
Exactly. Yeah. So we're like, oh, okay. That's an interesting way to end this movie. And then, oh, psych, Trey's second twist reveal. This is actually a B horror movie that we are watching on the drive-in big screen. So we've got a gaggle of teenagers in their car, and they comment on how it is unsatisfying that this was all in her head. And then we get Anne Bowman, who is a real figure in this world. So the story was based on a true story. Sure. And she has apparently escaped, and she stabs these teenagers. And that is the end of the film.
Yeah, this is okay.
It's fine.
Yeah, I honestly don't need these two, like, these 1-2 punches of the institution and, like, back in the car. Like, I guess we kind of want to end it with, like, this kind of, like, zing, but it doesn't really zing for me.
Yeah, I think it's fine, right? Like, that's what we would say. It's not a bad way to end the film in some ways. It's another opportunity to pay homage to other films that have a twist, like Psycho at the end and so on. But does it augment the film? Does it make the film better? I would argue, nah, not really.
No, yeah, it's fine. It's not exactly a whimper, but it's just not really a high note either.
No, it's not the thing you're going to remember this movie for.
No. And yeah, that kind of sums up my feelings about the movie. I think this movie's fine. I think it has a lot of good parts to it. It's halfway there for me.
Okay. Yeah, I think it's a little better than halfway there for me. I just enjoyed how silly. And yeah, like, we didn't really talk a ton about camp because, in truth, I don't find this movie super campy. I was surprised to see so many people describe it as such outside of Captain Stark. That, to me, was the big camp factor.
Right, yeah.
But yeah, I think it's silly, fun, playful. It was a good time. I don't think I'm going to rush to revisit it, but I can definitely understand why it gained a cult appeal. And I love that it's so unabashedly queer.
It is. And I think because we are doing this on the 25th anniversary, I do think there are some nationwide, like, theatrical screenings happening for this. So, you know, I mean, if you haven't revisited this or watched it yet for this episode, go see it and see if it plays well with the crowd.
I was going to say, I bet you if you have an audience who is familiar with it and is there for a good time, I bet you this film plays like gangbusters on the big screen.
Yeah, for sure. But overall, solid film. I think I wouldn't mind seeing someone else take a stab at this, or actually, I wouldn't mind seeing the stage production of this.
Okay, I thought you were going to say a legacy sequel.
I mean, sure.
Bring back Lauren Ambrose. Can you imagine her reprising this role, being like, sure, in between seasons of
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'm good to go.
Well, I haven't seen that, but okay.
Never mind. Spoilers. I'll cut all that out.
But yeah, maybe one day. Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Sure, yeah.
Okay, everyone. Well, that has been Psycho Beach Party. So before we announce what we're covering next week, some quick housekeeping. If you want to get in touch with us, you can reach us on Blue Sky and Instagram at HorrorQueers. Shoot us an email at horrorqueers@gmail.com. Find us on Letterboxd to keep track of all the films we've covered. If you want to chat with other listeners, please join our HorrorQueers Discord. The link is in the show notes. And if you have a moment, please rate and review us on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. If you want even more content, please support the show by becoming a patron at patreon.com/horrorqueers. If you subscribe today, you will get 405 hours of Patreon content, including this month's new episodes on Hannibal Season 2, Episodes 7 and 8, Lurker, Together, Weapons, and a brand new audio commentary on Red Eye for its 20th anniversary. And we can officially announce that we'll be dropping new episodes on our requel tier. If you may remember, we started these back in April with episode recaps of Season 2 of The Last of Us, and now we're going to be doing the same thing, those episodic recaps, of Alien Earth.
Fuck yes.
So excited for this. Noah Hawley, Fargo, love it. And I can't wait to see what an Alien TV show looks like.
Yes, we have had so many questions. I can't wait to see how they execute this.
But Joe.
Yes.
What are we talking about next week?
Okay, so you had seen this week's film and I had not, and I have seen next week's film and you have not.
Correct.
So we're going to double our anniversary. So we're going to jump from 25 years to 50 years. And we're going to go down under, Trey. Oh my God, every time I try to do it, it's just terrible. It's so terrible. I promise I won't do it in the episode.
Okay.
We're going to talk about the 50th anniversary of a very fantastic film from Australia. It's Picnic at Hanging Rock.
Yes, I've never seen this. I have seen the miniseries with, I want to say
Natalie Dormer.
It's Natalie Dormer, and I want to say Samara Weaving is one of the girls, but...
Possibly.
Oh, man, it's one of them. But anyway, yeah, I really don't know much about this. Even when I saw the miniseries, I didn't know this was like a big thing because it's also based on a novel. So I'm really excited to go back to watch the original film.
Yeah, I'm going to caution folks. This is a slow, moody, hypnotic kind of movie. So don't go in expecting big, exciting things, but it is lush and just like so female-centric because it's a period film, not just a 50-year-old film. But yeah, it's girls go on a day trip away from their all-girls school and then a girl goes missing. chick goes from there.
Yeah, and I was right, by the way. That miniseries was Samara Weaving.
Hey, there you go. Okay. Aussie, oi, oi, oi.
But until next time, we can cross out Psycho Beach Party.
Indeed, and cross out horror queers.
Always so fresh, delicious, and nutritious, Eggland's Best Eggs fuel the body with 6 times more vitamin D, 10 times more vitamin E, and 25% less saturated fat compared to ordinary eggs. Visit egglandsbest.com to learn more.
Toxic Avenger fans, tickets are on sale now. Go to toxicavenger.com/podcast and get tickets for you and dozens of your friends to see your favorite radioactive janitor exclusively in theaters. Go to toxicavenger.com/podcast to get your movie tickets now and show the up on August 29th.